This is Mikey.
And I'm Garrison Rifen. This is Cinema Debrief. Welcome to Cinema Debrief, episode 11. I'm Garrison Rifen, here alongside my co-host, Mikey. How are you doing tonight, Mikey?
What is up, Garrison? I don't know if you remember at the beginning of February,
Okay.
I said, I'm going to try and watch like 28 movies this month. And I did it. I watched 29 movies this month, actually. So I was even counting the possibility of it being a leap year. Even though it's not. I want to upfront say that I will not have that goal any other month of this year because that was almost an irresponsible amount of movie watching because I had inadvertently set that goal for myself. Plus, March is very TV heavy for me. Looking at all the shows that are starting in March, there's 2 Yellowstone verse shows. So that's like 2 hours a week there, and then whatever other shows I'm watching. I'm still watching that crappy Star Trek show. I'm still watching. I'm watching too much television, so much so that I took one show away that I thought I was going to watch because I finally read the log line of the show on HBO, and it seemed like a subject matter I would not want to, support. So I chose. It's some new. It's like a Jason Bateman's in the show, and the guy from Stranger Things that I can never remember his name, who plays the Red Guardian. Why can't I ever remember his name?
David Harbour?
Yeah. Anyways, they've got this show that's starting this Sunday.
I almost said Alexei Shostakov, which is
I know, exactly. That would have been impressive to pull that out. So I was able to pull that show off. I don't care about that show. I'm not going to watch it. It's a weird looking show because I've got too many other shows. And so I know for sure, the rest of the year, I'm not going to be trying to watch a movie a day. And it wasn't even a movie a day. It was just how many can I watch the same amount of movies in a month that there are days in the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked the shortest month strategically, so I don't have to worry about doing that at all, because I don't want to be, I think sometimes when you set goals like that for yourself, you almost look for quantity over quality sometimes.
Yeah.
And I want my movie watching to be more quality than it has in the past. With my previous podcast, we always had a list of the worst films you watched in a year. I don't want to give space for that anymore. I want to be more like Dr. Earl and only watch good movies.
I was glad I did not get invited on that episode often, because I think I got invited once or twice, and I scrambled to find 5 movies that I felt like were rotten, because I try not to go out of my way to watch terrible movies.
I'm the same way.
You say.
I'm the same way.
Sometimes you see a movie and you go, "This is awful."
Yeah, sometimes it just ends up being bad. But I mean, there was one that I watched recently that I thought was going to be good that was just bad. So sometimes it just happens, inadvertently. But I don't want to give space for watching bad movies. Nobody has time for that. Nobody should have time for that, I will say. But I am kind of proud of myself that I watched that many movies in a month. But I'm definitely not going to have that focus anymore for the rest of the year. It's going to be quality over quantity now.
Well, talk about irresponsible movie watching. I mean, 2021, you watched over 365 new movies.
That was a pandemic year. And I think I was unemployed for 6 months of that year. And so I dominated that year, by the way. So.
Yeah. I watched close to 280 something or whatever. And I remember that year, not to get too far into it, but I watched 70 movies that January.
Nice.
That's
awesome.
Because with college, I I like literally, I have most of my work online. I get done with it. I start to watch a movie. I watch another movie before I do my work, and then I do my work and watch another movie. I mean, it's great. Now that I work all the time, I can't do that.
So. Yeah, welcome to the real world. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no time for anything anymore. It's just that way, unfortunately.
Well, speaking of things not being the same as they used to be, Paramount has officially won the bid for WB over Netflix.
Yep.
Big deal.
Still regulatory approval that needs to happen,
and regulatory approval not just in the U.S. but in the EU and other countries, and there's going to be some real, I think, scrutiny that happens on that. I think there should be.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there should be.
I think there should have been. I think it should have been blocked if Netflix got it. I think it probably should be blocked if Paramount winds up getting the bid. That's my personal feeling.
Yeah.
I think, the more and more you consolidate all that stuff, you're getting towards, antitrust stuff happening in Hollywood, and Netflix is horrendous for the streaming side of things, and I don't just mean what they would eventually do to theatrical, which I felt like they would have if they had gotten Warner Brothers, but they would have had your number one subscribed streamer in the US and your number two subscribed streamer in the US in Netflix and HBO Max. And viewership wise, it's not 1 and 2, but they're up there as well. And there could be a real case to be made there. Paramount does not have a heavy streamer. Paramount Plus is not one of the most viewed streaming services, but still combining those two companies, Ellison's promising 30 movies a year theatrically. I just don't see how they get it done. Especially when what's going to happen is they're going to buy the company and then cut a bunch of people, and I don't see how you get 30 movies done that way.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened to Disney and Fox. I mean, there was all kinds of promises up front with that too, and Fox's output has just plummeted.
Yeah, I will say this: a lot of people want to compare the Disney-Fox merger. I think the Disney-Fox merger is a little different, and I'm not defending anybody.
Oh, yeah, it's split,
but I think it's different because, besides the splitting of the company and stuff like that, but I think it's different because Disney entered the Fox deal. I think they had a plan in place where they were going to produce more movies with Fox than they ultimately have, but I think the pandemic and the strikes have ultimately hurt that plan.
Yeah.
And I'm not making an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've done a poor job with Fox overall. There's been some good Searchlight movies. I think the Predator movies have been pretty good, but
Send Help was good.
And they've had some hits here or there, but they've not really done much, mega hit wise with it.
Right.
Now, Devil Wears Prada 2 could be huge for them.
I think it will be. Yeah, I think that's going to be a massive movie. But just in general.
Less movies you're producing for theaters, the less money that theaters make, really, ultimately, and it's just bad for the industry overall in terms of helping fund smaller films, even. Because that used to be kind of the philosophy.
Yeah, and this whole deal with Paramount and Warner Brothers, I mean, the difference between the two, obviously, Paramount is buying everything, like the whole kit and caboodle.
Yes.
They're buying the film side, the television side, the gaming side. They're buying everything, whereas Netflix was only buying the studio, the film studio. Well, and I guess that also being HBO Max being part of that as well.
Yes, it was, and they said they'd keep it separate. And Paramount, I think, has said that they're going to combine it into one streamer.
Which, gosh, that's such a shame. I mean, that's to lose. And I know that they'll combine it in the sense that there'll be probably an HBO hub.
I was going to say, I think
Paramount Plus, but
if Paramount's smart, you just call it HBO, like Netflix is planning on calling it.
Well, yeah, or you have if you're dead set on keeping the Paramount Plus name, and having a hub that says HBO Max, so you have to go through Paramount Plus to get to HBO Max, which is eventually what Disney is basically going to do. You have to go through Disney Plus to get to Hulu and get to the ESPN standalone service. So, I mean, it's not, I don't think the consumer would necessarily care in the grand scheme of things. I just hate to see HBO Max specifically, because they'll still have the linear channel on cable. I mean, they'll still have HBO on cable, but it just saddens me to see HBO Max be a hub on Paramount Plus. I just don't like it just feels icky. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like you said, there's so many regulatory things that still have to take place. I mean, this deal is going to be like a 7 to 14 month waiting period anyways before we really find out what's going to happen.
There was leaked audio from David Zaslav talking to his guys saying that the deal might not go through ultimately, even if Paramount is able to come up with the money. It might get blocked. It probably will get blocked in certain areas, at least. The EU is probably not going to be. I mean, just geopolitically, the EU is going to align with whatever Trump doesn't want. And if Trump passes it in the US, the EU is going to find a way to not let them merge in some way in the EU. And so there's going to be some messy stuff there that's going to happen. I would just speaking,
still
how I feel like the world works there.
Still a long process, but man, the speed at which Sarandos got out of the deal was hilarious, because everybody was like, "Oh, I'm sure he'll take the 4-day waiting period and really make a wise." And dude was like, within an hour, he was like, "I'm done. I'm out."
And Netflix gets to add $2.8 billion to their profit loss sheet.
Right. Not paid by Zaslav, paid by Ellison.
Correct.
That's so stupid.
And the leaked audio from Zaslav says if the deal falls apart, they get $7 billion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So, and here's the thing: if the deal falls apart, if whatever happens that makes the deal fall apart, what Warner Brothers was planning to do anyway was split their company up to saddle their debt with the dying part of their company, the television side.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the side that Discovery was kind of a part of when they merged the two companies.
Right. Yeah.
Saddle their debt over there and basically let that company die.
Exactly.
And keep the part that's still making money.
Linear cable is going to die. It's inevitable.
Yes.
I mean that it's maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years. Like who knows how long it will take, but it will inevitably die. I mean,
it's really funny because the industry has now done this twice in my measure. They've killed a golden goose that's made them a lot of money in effort to go towards something that's not making them a ton of money. And what I mean by that is physical media used to be a way to have a second opening for a film. I mean, you could make tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, off of physical media as a studio. Now you have to hope that you can sell it to a streamer if you're, if you can. But if you have your own streamer, you're selling it to yourself, really, for tens of millions, probably. There's no back end on that. There's just all stupid stuff. But then you've got the linear cable side of it all. With that dying, you've also pointed towards streaming. You pointed two avenues now towards streaming, which is making less money than the other avenues were making. And part of that's a consumer choice. They saw a simpler way of doing things and have now shifted towards streaming. I don't blame people. I think streaming is a great invention.
It is.
But the companies have not realized how to monetize it yet. And
no, they have because they're trying to, because they certainly push people to their ad plans now they do. They're certainly trying by making the price that much cheaper than the ad free.
In the recent years that has happened where streamers have started offering ad plans and making it so much cheaper. And if you look at the numbers, Amazon doesn't report direct to consumer numbers and stuff like that. But I read something the other day that had their ad tier making tons of money, hand over fist.
Well, yeah, because I think a lot of people don't even realize that you can pay an extra. Well, it ends up being $3.23 exactly. I know this because I pay it every month to have ad free. In addition to what you're paying for your annual or monthly Prime that you pay anyways.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people don't realize that option's even there. So it makes sense that the ad version is making a lot of money for them.
But a lot of the streaming companies besides Netflix, who aren't making near what Netflix makes currently, are realizing is that a lot of that money that they're leaving behind in the television space is ads.
Yeah.
It's because they're not selling ads, they're not making nearly as much as they did before.
Yeah.
On the cable bundling. So it's
and it's even like the whole concept of the ad-free version is even a lie in general. On some programming, especially the ESPN standalone service, which I pay for the ESPN standalone service, and I'm a big WWE fan. Well, the whole hook for getting the ESPN standalone service for the WWE fans is that all their paid live events run through that service now. And there's commercials whether you pay the ad-free version or not, specifically on those WWE events. So, and that's, I'm sure there's other sporting events that are the same way. You can't really be ad-free on live sporting events. I mean, it's just not going to work. I guess they could throw I don't know, they could throw internal programming up during television timeouts if they wanted to still claim it was ad-free, but they don't. They just throw ads up. So it's a lot of it's a lie.
I follow a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of them are dooming about this whole merger.
Oh, sure they are.
Of course, which I think is,
most people are.
Go find a hobby, because you don't need to spend hours and hours. I get it. Yeah, but you don't need to spend hours and hours being miserable about something that's out of your control.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's going to. I mean, it's a lot of it's just righteous indignation because they're trying to fight for the little man.
Yeah, and look, I don't like Ellison because if you look at his track record, I think he's a poor producer.
I think so too. I agree.
You look at his track record of films, aside from the Mission films, which I think he was involved in some way because he's a part of Skydance.
Because he's part of Skydance, though. Yeah.
But those are spearheaded by Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise.
Right. Yeah.
So those are really their babies overall. Mm-hmm. And really they in Paramount get bullied by Tom to get more money for those films.
Yeah, it's just really interesting. I mean, the winner out of this, I think Disney's a winner out of this. I think Universal and Sony, and to some extent even Amazon and Apple, because they still have their ability to work with theaters if they want to on all five of those. Obviously, the big three work with theaters in general, but Amazon's done a really good job, I think, of balancing their straight to streaming films and their theatrical, and it's slowly paying off for them. I mean, Mercy wasn't great. Crime 101 was really good, even though it didn't make that much money. And sometimes that's all it takes, though, is a movie that's actually well made, and then people will start paying attention and saying, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to wait for this to show up on Prime or MGM Plus or however they're going to handle that. I do want to go see this Amazon branded movie in theaters because they're releasing quality films, and Apple does the same thing. I mean, they kind of pick and choose like what they throw. That I think The Lost Bus had like a week or two theatrical before they put it on their streaming service, and that's a good streaming movie. I mean, I think the consumer is pretty educated now when it comes, at least the consumer that watches a lot of movies, what feels like a streaming movie and what doesn't. I mean, you just kind of have a gauge within you that you're like, oh, well, and then sometimes the opposite, like The Wrecking Crew, I think may have done well theatrically. No way to prove that, but
to me, it really feels like the split should be how it was before, where if a movie is direct to streaming, it should be of the quality that a direct to video movie is. And your higher quality film should really be at least pushed towards theatrical in some way.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it's a small theatrical window before they throw it on their streamer. I mean,
because the numbers show, and as an entertainment strategy guy who does a good job on Substack, and a couple of these other people have broken down the theatrical releases that get theatrical ad campaigns and all that perform better on streaming than most streaming original movies do.
100%.
You can't always count Netflix films in that because they're kind of funky and they push their films to the front, but the studios who own their own streamers, the movies that do the best are the streaming films, their theatrical films, sorry. And even on Netflix, when they buy some theatrical films, Madam Web was #1 for a few days on there. It's not a good film.
No,
but probably because it was infamous, it became #1. Plus, it got a theatrical ad campaign, so people were aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Faces of Death syndrome. You want to watch something that you've heard is that bad.
But Netflix, on some positive news, has claimed that they might be doing some more with theatrical out after this. So
we'll see.
To me, you've got two big things this year. If you're really about that, if you're really committed to that, Cliff Booth and Narnia are both things that you should be pushing harder.
I'd love to be able to go see Cliff Booth in a theater. I could care less about Narnia, in all honesty, but I would love to be able to go see that Cliff Booth in IMAX. It just would be awesome, but it is what it is. Like I was able to see Frankenstein in the theater.
Yeah, me too.
And it was a great experience. I mean, I thought that it played really well theatrically. So yeah,
well,
we'll see what happens.
On the award front, the 37th Producers Guild of America Awards happened last night for us. For this podcast, it was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Pretty what we expected in the big categories. The award for Outstanding Producer of Theatrical Motion Pictures went to One Battle After Another, the current massive frontrunner for the Oscar.
Yeah.
My Mom Jane won for Documentary Theatrical Motion Pictures. I don't think that one's a documentary.
I don't think that's nominated.
Nominee. Yeah. And of course, the animated theatrical motion picture. That's kind of funny way of putting it. Went to K-pop Demon Hunters.
It is that particular category was interesting to me because I don't like. There's part of me that still wonders if the Academy voters are going to not vote for Zootopia 2 or something. Just something more traditional. We'll see.
Here's the thing.
K-pop's got a lot of momentum.
K-pop has had a longer amount of time to build a lot of momentum, so it was not a hit at first. And if you listen to the Sony head talk about it on The Town, I mean, he talked about how it was not. He didn't think it was going to be a theatrical hit, and how it was not a initial hit on Netflix, but gained word of mouth over time.
Yeah.
It became a phenomenon.
Big time. Yeah.
Super successful for Netflix.
Yeah.
But Zootopia 2 has made $1.85 billion in theaters and is a phenomenon itself that I don't think enough people are talking about.
You're right.
But I just don't know. It may have, weirdly enough, it may have released too late. That I think a lot of these people made their minds up about K-pop Demon Hunters a long time ago.
That's a good point. I mean, K-pop, and I finally watched it. I did not watch it in its original run because I was trying to fight the power and not support it. Because it's just not my style of animation in the first place, and I just it's okay. Like the songs, I will admit, are very catchy songs. I don't know that I really dug the story in general, but Zootopia 2, as far as the quality of animation, the quality of storytelling, the quality of voice acting, even, I think is far superior to K-pop, but it doesn't have the songs that K-pop has. So you got to balance that and see. I don't know. I'm still waffling on that one, but yeah, it won the Annie Award. I mean, it's like winning everything. So, I mean, everything appears to be pointing towards K-pop, but it's hard for me to be convinced of that totally.
Got the SAG Awards tonight. We'll see what happens with that.
What's Actor Awards.
Oh, yes. Sorry. The Actors Awards.
Dare you.
Live on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that. And I didn't realize that they're giving Harrison Ford a big award. So I'm more excited now to hear his speech. With world events, I'm always nervous. Like, it seems like every time award season starts, crazy crap happens in the world also. And so there's so many different things that people can get on a mic and have a high horse about. And Harrison has been known to do that before. So hopefully he'll just talk about his career or something instead of chiming in on world events. But a lot of times actors can't help themselves when it comes to that stuff. So we'll see. But I am excited about the possibility of him going up there and just talking about this point in his career. And it really appears that in certain ways he's gotten his passion for acting back that maybe he had lost for a little while, because he is, whatever you want to say about Shrinking, he's amazing in it. Just because he shows a vulnerability that he really hasn't shown much. He's always the macho hero in a lot of his films. And there's been occasion in smaller films in his younger days that he has been able to show his range as an actor. And I hope that at some point he does get an Emmy. They're probably waiting for the last season or something, and then they'll give him the Emmy for it, just because he is really great in it. And he showed moments of that in 1923 also, especially the first season of 1923, where you could just tell that like there was this fire within him at being able to be creative in a different way than maybe he hasn't in the past. And so I don't know. It might be interesting to watch whatever speech he's going to give tonight and see if he gets a little teary-eyed, just because it seems like he's, obviously the guy's in his 80s. Like he knows he's not going to be on the planet much longer probably. And so I think he's just getting nostalgic about his career maybe. And could be a good speech if he lets it be.
He is one of the biggest, to me, snubs in terms of never receiving an Academy Award of any kind, supporting or actor.
Yeah.
That
there's
been
enough opportunities where they could have done that. So yeah.
Yes, I mean Witness, and and then he tried for it a little bit after that, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
Sometimes if you want it too much, the Academy will not give it to you. I remember few years back, there were some anonymous ballots that said Eddie Murphy wanted it too much for Dolomite Is My Name.
Could Timmy want it too much?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I think some voters do that, and I think it's interesting because they don't do that for women. They do that for young men.
Right.
They don't do that for younger women.
Yeah.
But if young men want it, they get resentful about it.
They're like, wait, it's not your turn yet, sir. Just wait just a little 10 more years when you're in your 40s. Then we'll honor you, but not yet. Yeah. We're gonna give it to Leo again. They won't. I don't know. I think Timmy's now, if he doesn't get the SAG, then I wonder.
Yeah, but he got the SAG last year, so we'll see.
I know. It's weird.
We'll see.
It's weird.
Well, want to get to the off the shelf pick?
Yes, let's do it. Let's dive in.
All right. Well, I bought this film March 13th, 2017, I think was the date. I'm not going to fact check that. But almost 9 years ago to this day, I had just a couple months before started listening to this little podcast called the Deucecast Movie Show. And I started getting into physical media collecting because I don't know. I just started broadening my horizons with this one pretentious person and these other two people on the podcast.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And their many guests. And this was one of the first movies I picked up, probably because I heard about it on the podcast. I can't tell you what episode it would have been or whatever, but but Training Day was one that I heard that I should watch, and I said, well, why not? The first Blu-ray I will tell you I bought. This is the fifth. The first Blu-ray I bought was the Prestige.
Well, you're Nolan.
Should not surprise you at all.
It doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, and you've since upgraded, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. Yeah. This is directed by Anton Fuqua, written by David Ayer. Mm-hmm. I did not realize that this literally took place in a singular day.
Yeah.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know a ton about the movie. All I knew about the movie was King Kong ain't got S on me. Mm-hmm. That famous line, him in that scene. But I didn't really actually know the plot of the film itself.
Yeah.
I knew that he something to do with kind of corrupt cops or police officers of some kind. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it had Ethan Hawke and it had Denzel Washington, and that a lot of people lauded Denzel Washington's performance in this. And I honestly thought he got killed in that scene where he's shouting at the people in the crowd, because that scene is played in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if he dies, that's probably the place where they just shoot. He's got a gun pointed at him. They're going to shoot him right there, and he's done.
Yeah.
And you probably feel like he deserves it. That's all I knew about this movie. I really enjoyed this. This may be Fuqua's, strange to say because it's one of his earliest films. It may be his strongest film.
Yeah, and I think we touched on that last week, where looking at his filmography, he's worked a really long time, and to date, I would agree with you. I would say this is probably his strongest film. Now, Michael could be massive. I mean, it will be massive box office wise just because of what it is, but quality wise, we don't know until we see it. But did you see who the DP was on this?
I did not.
Mauro Fiera. I'm so bad at pronouncing Mauro Fiore. Do you recognize that name?
No.
He's the DP for Avatar and won an Academy Award for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he's a guy that
did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, he did a great job in this. It looks really gritty. It looks like a David Ayer movie, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, it just has that feel about it.
It does have the Ayer kind of DNA of it. Obviously, it reads like it. It's his script.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by the dialogue. I think Ayer's comic book movie dialogue is awful for the most part, unfortunately.
So, right.
But when he's writing his experiences from, kind of being around those communities that he's writing about in this, the kind of gang communities around LA, he does a really, really good job. And Denzel sells that stuff hard.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I mean, Denzel was definitely going for it. In this movie, not that he doesn't in all his films, but I mean, he definitely stretched out every single word. Like, he was just really taking advantage of what was probably, when he read the script for the first time, he was likely salivating, just because knowing the character that he's getting to play in this, he was like, oh yes, this is, because really, if you look at Denzel's filmography, before this, he was not often the villain. And now this particular guy obviously doesn't think he's a villain. He's just working the system and playing the game, as he would put it, play it a play a pimp to pimp. I mean, he's playing the game. And there's something that David Ayer loves in all of his screenplays is corrupt cops, powerful white men, and Russians. He loves that in all of his all of his down to earth, about stuff in LA or New York or whatever. He loves that subject matter and writes it well. I mean, I don't know what his background is prior to becoming a screenwriter, but he does. He just writes a good screenplay, and we saw that in The Rip. I mean, he wrote a good screenplay with that. Wait, was that actually? No, that was Carnahan, wasn't it? I'm sorry. I get Carnahan and Ayer. I get those two guys mixed up so much because their filmographies are very similar. But anyways, yeah.
I did not realize Denzel won the Academy Award for this. That's totally deserved.
I think. Well, okay. I agree that it was deserved, but this was kind of a make good Academy Award for, most people thought he probably would have gotten Best Actor for something like Malcolm X, or something like a Philadelphia or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, at the time, and I don't even remember who was up against him.
Russell Crowe for Beautiful Mind, Sean Penn for I Am Sam, Will Smith for Ali, and Tom Wilkinson for In the Bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen the Academy giving it to Russell Crowe for A Beautiful Mind, but I mean, they took the opportunity with this bombastic performance that Denzel gave to go ahead and honor the performance. I agree, it's a great performance. There are moments where he goes over the top a bit.
I kind of love that, though. I thought that really worked for the movie.
But that's how the character. I think it worked really well, and Ethan Hawke did great against him as a character completely opposite of that.
Yes, and it wears his emotions on his face a lot,
big time.
I mean, just really. I mean, by the end of it, so dark. His face, almost literally cast in shadows at certain points.
100%.
Shooting it, but also just a solemn face where he knows he's got to turn this guy in. He's got to turn the money in. He's almost been killed by this guy, essentially set up to be killed at the end a few times, really.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when he and there's a great supporting cast of that guys in this, people that you'll recognize. Tom Berenger. Terry
Crews is in this, has 0 lines, but he's in the background. Just
it's very strange. It's all very strange. I didn't understand. And then the inclusion, of course, of Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Being in LA, I think Antoine Fuqua was like, I'm going to put my buddies in this. And Dr. Dre actually had some lines, as did Snoop Dogg, but yeah, Terry Crews really looked out of place, to be honest, because he looked like a bodybuilder.
I think that's also our modern lens of Terry Crews looking at this film and going, "That's Terry Crews."
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he just standing in the background?
Right. Like
why is he not saying something goofy and funny?
Yeah, give him something to do other than just stand there, and look menacing, which is basically what his character was just supposed to look menacing.
That's fine. A couple years later, he did White Chicks, so I think he's all right.
I do love just this concept of, as far as Denzel's character being kind of a guy who's been on the force for a really long time, and he kind of has assembled a crew of guys that, like yes men, basically, that will always do his bidding. And when you've got a young idealistic character that Ethan Hawke is playing, he probably thought it would be easy to mold him into whomever he wanted him to be. But Ethan Hawke's character had a moral compass that was stronger than just letting somebody like Denzel's character. And they do a good job of showing that throughout the film, like when he wants to stop the car to stop that girl from getting raped. I mean, so you see all this, like you understand, and a lot of times movie directors will have their guy wear a cross necklace or something. Not that ever comes up in the film at all. Like, are you a man of faith? He may ask him that one time or something, but it's just like, okay, well, here's the character that's going to be the Boy Scout.
But Denzel's character does wear the cross.
And
so, it's a part of his kind of streetwear.
Yeah, it's a part of his streetwear, though. Yeah. Whereas I think Ethan Hawke's character had like just a regular cross necklace on, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah. There's some really fascinating kind of, in a way, world building happening all around them, and not fully explained, but you just kind of understand some of it. And I really love the dynamics between the different, getting in there with the Hispanic guys in the house, and you start to think, oh, well, maybe Ethan's getting along with these guys, and maybe he'll fit in with this, and be able to reform some things. But then things turn on him. But there becomes a point where he is able to escape due to good things he had done earlier in the day, because he's a good person. He was able to escape a punishment, essentially. Losing his life there.
And it had been many years since I had seen this. One thing that I do get annoyed about as far as movie tropes are concerned is when they want to change what a character is seeing when he's on drugs, and they want to show the audience this is what the character is seeing, and they use the green tint in this case, or green or blue. Some of that stuff does annoy me a little bit. I'm like, I get it. He's on PCP. You don't have to show us what he sees all the time. We get that he's on PCP. And so there was some of that, but it reminded me a lot of a movie that I watched for the first time just maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Very not famous movie, but a movie called Colors, where you've got an old cop, Robert Duvall in this case, and a young, kind of idealistic cop, Sean Penn, and almost in the exact same type of character as Ethan Hawke's character in Training Day. And where they're on the streets and they're trying to, and this is the Colors takes place in the 80s, whereas this is obviously modern day as when it came out. But yeah, a lot of similar type things happen in Colors that happen in Training Day. I don't think that there was any award nominations for Colors though. But a lot of Training Day, I think, ended up being this performance is good enough to be what would be considered a make good performance. Like I think Denzel's probably better in Malcolm X than he is in this, but this type of bombastic performance just gave them the opportunity to finally give him the Best Actor award. And it's fair. I mean, it's not like it's a bad performance, but it's a great performance. But I would have loved to have seen him get something, the award for something more like Malcolm X or something along those lines. But it is what it is as far as that's concerned.
I liked how every time, story-wise, every time Ethan's character would interact with somebody on the street, they would kind of, they would call him a rookie.
Yeah.
They would dismiss him, know that he was an undercover cop immediately. I liked that kind of aspect to it. He was a guy who was very green on the job as a narc.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, it's literally Training Day, as the movie is titled.
Yeah.
But I liked that kind of aspect of it because they all picked up on him being a narc immediately. Just these nice little things they add throughout the story as a running gag, really. There.
What did you think about? And I'm asking this because I'm wondering. This was the first time I had watched a movie on this new TV that I got, and I'm not, I'm just using the television speakers, and so I don't have like a surround sound system or whatever. And the score seemed really low to me, like almost non-existent.
Okay.
Because, and that just may have been because it was such a dialogue heavy movie.
Yeah.
They weren't able to squeeze much of a, like, there is a score to the film, but it just was very like low. At least in my viewing experience, I did not hear much of a score coming out of those speakers.
I was so locked into the movie that I don't think I even noticed that, really.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't remember the score.
Yeah. There is a composer, so there is a score.
I remember they started the movie with, like Still Dre or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of music used. Yeah, there's a lot of modern songs and whatnot.
I didn't remember composition made for the film.
Yeah, so. It and I think that was intentional. I mean, and I was just wondering if you caught it, and it sounds like you had the same experience as me, that you didn't notice it, even though it's kind of there, very, very low in the background. There is a score there, but they just had so much dialogue pretty much in every single thing. I loved Scott Glenn's performance in this.
Yeah.
He was kind of the guy and they do such a great job of making you think this is an informant or somebody that Denzel's character works with a lot, and that they're buddies. Like, they're drinking together, they're like buds, and then they circle back, and this is the big takedown that Denzel had been planning kind of the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he said, in fact, he verbally said, so I've been planning this all week.
This is why he got him to smoke the
exactly
weed laced PCP.
Yep.
It was an elaborate plan for him to get away with this, basically.
Yeah.
And be able to pay off the Russians, who at the beginning we kind of hear a little bit about, and then meets with the three wise men, which is an interesting scene. We hear a little bit more about. And then
it's the Christmas Club.
Plan.
It's the same guys, but no, it's not the same guys. But it is very similar. Like, if you're thinking about one battle after another, it's like these old white guys that are in different power positions.
And the setting itself kind of looks country clubbish.
It does. You're right.
It may just be a restaurant itself, but it looks kind of country club.
And did you notice what I loved? And Denzel did this so well. He code switches really well in the film, where he can just be right in that country club world and pull back like his street talk, basically. And the character is just, he's been doing this for so long. He knows how to speak to different groups of people that can be beneficial to him.
Yeah.
And
he's used to using a bunch of people too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really, I was impressed with that fact from a characterization standpoint. I'm sure that's on the page, but hey, talk to these guys, drink a glass of wine with them. It was good. I mean, I really, really liked that. And those guys respected him too. It's not like that they didn't, because they knew that they could use him also for their means. And it was all, everybody's, it's all a bunch
using
of
using
each other. Exactly. And I don't know. I just love seeing those particular three actors. And I recognized all three of them, but I only know Tom Berenger by name. But just seeing those three character actors together in that scene, automatically, if you've seen enough movies in your life and you recognize those people, you automatically are locked in. Like, you're really locked in, because I've seen so many, those three guys have been in so many like 80s and 90s cop movies that you love seeing them in a scene together with Denzel. And I don't know, it was great casting director applause on that one. Just like when you're watching One Battle and you recognize the faces of the Christmas Club, at least some of them, you're like, oh, it's that guy that was a bad guy in the 80s in 80s action movies that they're using for one battle after another. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Casting is such a big part, and I'm so glad the Academy's finally going to be honoring casting directors, because it's the thing that nobody ever thinks about. You're just like, if you put anybody else in those 3 seats in Training Day, you might not lock in as much. But because you recognize the faces and you immediately are remembering all the stuff that you've seen those guys in the past, and you just lock in as a viewer, casting directing is a huge part of making even the smallest roles, of letting your audience know, hey, this is a scene you really need to pay attention to. Don't be distracted by anything else.
Casting directors and the studio have the ultimate final say on who gets in the film, but casting directors will help them narrow it down to a small group of people and say, this is who your pool. They go through the process of narrowing it way down before the directors and the studios even, really start to touch and talk with these people. So I mean, it's a thankless job, really.
Well, not anymore.
Because then the director will go, well, yes, I cast this guy.
Yeah. Luckily, not anymore. And you know what? Props to Scorsese, because he always mentioned that woman that he worked with for many years. I can't remember her name, and I think she sadly passed away. But the casting director that he works with on a ton of his films, he always was very good about making sure that her name was out there as, hey, she is a big part of helping me cast these films, and I respect her suggestions. And because I doubt that a director that far down the line maybe is really concerned about the 3 guys in those scenes. Maybe they are. I don't know. It's hard to know. Like, but they want people that are recognizable. And even though you don't know 2 of the 3 guys, like you don't know their name off the top of your head, you know Tom Berenger because it's Tom Berenger. And you're like, oh, those other guys, I've seen them in so much stuff. And that scene is just so cool because Denzel's getting to bounce off of these veteran actors. And I don't know. I just love certain aspects of this film in that way. Helped me lock in. And even the guys that were on Denzel's crew, you might not like know who those guys are, but you're like, oh, hey, that's the guy from Pulp Fiction. I recognize him. And I think he recently passed away, actually. Kind of young to have passed away, Pete or something or other. And then the other guys in his crew, you're like, oh, I kind of recognize him. And all of that just helps the audience get even more locked into your movie. And it's just, I don't know. There's some great stuff in this movie.
Interestingly, there's an alternate ending for this film, which is on the Blu-ray. And I decided to watch it because I thought, well, why not just check it out? And it deals with those guys. It starts off with Alonzo getting shot up. None of that is different at all. The cars pull up, they shoot him. He isn't able to get to the trunk, where I guess he was going to pop out some money at least. But he didn't have all of it. So, but then you cut to Ethan Hawke at the house. In the normal movie, he gets out, he goes into his house, he's home for the night. The day's over. He's back home. In this one, the alternate ending, the 3 wise men are behind him. He gets out of the car, they confront him and say, well, where's, Alonzo didn't make the drop. What happened? Where's the money? Did you keep the money? And Ethan says, I booked it, and I booked all the evidence, and I'm going home. So it's almost the same ending, because he does walk into the house again, but instead there's a little bit of a confrontation between him and the 3 wise men.
And that adds an additional element, because you're also getting to see those guys get foiled. So you're not only getting to see Alonzo get foiled by being murdered brutally by Russian gangsters, but you're also getting to see the 3 wise men foiled as well. Which that would have added. That's cool. I need to watch that ending at some point.
And the thing is, if you inserted either ending, I mean, you could understand that at the end of the movie, there's really not a lot of guessing as to what he did with the money. Obviously, he was a good guy. He was gonna not keep it, and he was gonna book it and explain everything that he could. He probably was not going to be a cop much longer, though, because it'd be tough for him to explain all that stuff away. And ultimately his culpability in it. And
did you not love? It's just like, and I call it a trope, but it's just because it's a movie trope doesn't mean I don't love it. But the Russian-looking woman lighting a cigarette in the van, it's just the little things like that. They're just like winking at the audience. They're like, "Hey, look, here's our Eastern European-looking woman in a dark van. You know what's about to happen."
Yeah.
So I love that type of stuff because it is a wink at the audience, but I still love it.
We also never see that light go green. It makes me wonder if he was starting to run it because he realized what was next to him.
Yeah.
And then of course they had already gotten there, and
they'd already gotten there very quickly. Yeah.
Yes.
The ending is quite brutal.
Yes.
But also very, very 90s action flick in the amount of bullets that are used and the throwing up of the hands as the bullets are hitting you.
Yeah. I was surprised by the first barrage of bullets. I felt like they kind of cut it off quickly, which I was okay with. I was like, okay, they didn't waste. I mean, they sent a lot of bullets at them. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't go as far as they could have. And then they lit them up again.
And then they did. Like, okay. And then they went even farther than necessary.
Yeah, it's like he was gonna just die there anyway. But
yeah, it was good. I love Training Day. I'm glad that
yes,
we got to watch that as your pick. Well, my pick for I mean, I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I don't know if that equates to an 8 out of 10, but so I mentioned Martin Scorsese earlier. There are still some holes in my filmography with Martin Scorsese, and this one is the least Martin Scorsese movie, at least as far as I've heard. I've not seen the film, obviously, because I'm taking it off my shelf because I haven't seen it before. But in a couple of weeks, when we cover our off-the-shelf pick again, because we are taking a week off from that, but we are going to be watching Hugo. I have never seen it. I don't know if you watched it at the time when it came out, but this is a Martin Scorsese family film, from what I understand. It's only rated PG, so I'm looking forward. I've heard it's actually really good, but I just have never. And this is the Arrow edition. I've got the 4K AV 516. If you're interested in their numbering system, but I'm excited about watching this. It doesn't look like there's any alternate endings or any extended edition or anything like that. A lot of times Scorsese, like when he releases a film, that's it. He doesn't often have different versions of his films on these things, but it's got a lot of extra content. If you ever want to try and complete your Scorsese sets, this one's on Arrow, and it's supposedly a good edition of Hugo. So in a couple of weeks, when we bring Off the Shelf segment back, that will be the movie. So this will give you time if you're trying to keep up with us on the off the shelf stuff. You have a couple of weeks now because we are taking a week break to discuss some Oscar stuff next week. But it
says it's streaming on
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus,
yeah, it is streaming. So finally, I picked a movie that you won't have to pay for if you have a Paramount Plus subscription service.
Paramount Plus Premium, Paramount Plus Essential, Paramount Plus on the Roku channel, Paramount Plus Prime.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird, but yeah. And it's on Canopy.
That's because and Canopy, so your local library, you can get it from there as well. But the reason they do that they show like Prime or Roku is because you can get
through those.
You can get the subs through those services.
And sometimes they give you extra movies on those, yeah.
Right, which is really weird. But luckily this one is actually on Paramount Plus proper. Even if you only have Essential, which I think the Essential one is with ads and the Premium is without ads or whatever. So
I'm starting to turn into an old man that doesn't know everything about these streaming services.
Well, there's too many. They changed the name. Like Apple, I didn't realize until like a couple of weeks ago that Apple TV Plus doesn't exist anymore. It's just Apple TV.
I heard that they were dropping the Plus.
They dropped the Plus, and I'm like, why? Who cares? So yeah. So there you go. That's my off shelf for in a couple of weeks. Hugo. Looking forward to watching it. Just honestly, so I can check off another Martin Scorsese. And there's several of his that I haven't seen. I'm hesitant to watch Last Temptation of Christ, but I know I need to eventually because that's a huge Martin Scorsese film. But for now, I can mark Hugo off the list. So
all right, I'm excited about that one. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I've never seen Hugo or Adventures of Tintin. Both the kind of children's movies that were done by big time directors around that same time.
That's true. Yeah, Adventures of I own that just because I own all Spielberg films. So in various formats.
Major film that came out this weekend. Biggest opening of the year so far. Scream 7, directed by Kevin Williamson, the writers of 1, 2, and Scream 4.
Yeah.
Originally wrote a draft or a treatment of Scream 3, but that idea was rejected after the Columbine shooting because it was going to take place in a high school with Stu Macher still being alive, by the way, and orchestrating a series of killings from jail.
Okay.
That did not wind up happening again due to Columbine. They wanted to go towards something sillier, and they wound up doing a whole, obviously, Hollywood parody kind of movie.
That was okay. 3. I thought 3's fun. I think 3's fun.
It's fun. It's got a different tone than a lot of the other films, and I think this tone of this film is actually closer to 3.
Oh, I totally agree.
Some of the other films.
I 100%. It's not scary movie tone. It's not like it doesn't go that far, but there is definitely some more humor infused moments in this that for some reason people seem to be very angry about that. I don't know why. I mean, because I guess the tone, and I haven't seen them since they came out. I mean, I suffer from especially on newer films where I don't rewatch newer films. So I really can't remember what the tone of 5 and 6 was.
So Scream was always kind of a meta funny to me series.
To me, it was.
And 5 and 6 had that to me.
Okay, they did. Okay.
I think 6 gets too silly at the end in terms of, and I don't mean too silly in the way that would probably normally be. I just think the reveal at the end of 6 is stupid.
Yeah.
And I think the reveal at the end of this one is similarly stupid, but the difference is, and all love to Henry Cerny,
right,
the killer in this
Yeah.
sells the crap out of it, even when the idea is just kind of like, what?
It's way off the wall. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And what I didn't realize, I think, just in general, not necessarily specifically talking about Scream 7, but that there is a fan base for this franchise that is way far beyond what I thought it was. Like, there are people that love these movies enough to buy the t-shirts, to buy the merchandise, to like,
yeah.
I didn't really realize that because I'm like, it's just Scream. I mean, it's like, how can you really be that invested? And so for whatever reason, I think like that fandom does not like this movie. Like they are like adamantly against this film for whatever reason.
I think they're divided.
Maybe
because I've got some OG Scream guys on my timeline that love it, and I've got some that don't. So,
yeah. I mean, I thought it was good for what it was. I mean, it had this. So Kevin Williamson, I think, is a good screenwriter. I don't know if he's a good director.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
But I do want to say real quick.
Yeah.
To defend him on the writing side of even this film, not his script, apparently. He only did rewrites on it.
Interesting.
So the guy Busick, whose name is out there for doing the script.
Does he get credit?
He really wrote it with, I think, some other guy. And they may have gotten a story by credit. I don't remember, but
interesting. I thought it was just Kevin Williamson. Okay.
Well, Williamson came in and they did shift. Like, he went and met with Nev, and apparently they, got together and said, let's punch up some of the stuff for Sydney, and she brought her own ideas in, and he brought his
and that's
ideas
obviously in. The big hook of the film is that Sydney's back.
Yes.
And the OG fans that had been clamoring for her to return were probably pretty pleased by that fact, which I think is reflective of the box office. I think everybody was super excited that Sydney was back.
Well, her missing from 6 didn't hurt the box office, but it was like a kind of a mark on the film of, like, why is Sydney not involved? Gail's here in 6. Yeah. Gail has a huge part in 6. And the thing is, if you read Radio Silence's comments and you read behind the scenes trade stuff, you know that Nev was supposed to be involved, but Paramount didn't want to pay her the number that she asked for, basically. And
they ponied up now. Apparently,
go down on that. But yes,
she apparently got a pretty good payday for this one. I think $6 million was what I saw in some places, but that's good for her.
In this one, we are introduced to a whole new cast of characters, plus people that we've met before. So you've got Sydney, you've got Gail, you've also got Mason Gooding from from 5 and 6, and his sister Jasmine Savoy Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you've got a whole new cast of kids led by Anna Camp, playing the daughter of Sydney Prescott, or Sydney Evans, as she's
no. Isabel May.
Sorry, Anna Camp is the neighbor.
Yeah.
Isabel May, the girl from 1883, I think.
She was in 1883. She was the narrator for 1923. Yellowstone fans have a love-hate relationship with Isabel May. Also, though, in what is objectively, no, I won't say that. I won't. I was just trolling with that. Subjectively, the best of the Daily Wire films, Run, Hide, Fight.
Oh, she's the girl in that?
She's the girl, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably their best.
Yeah, that's probably their best.
It's also one that they bought, like some of their others, but yeah.
Yes, right. Yeah, that was when they were first starting, and so they did purchase that. Now they're making their own stuff, but they did purchase that one originally. But yeah, look, I mean, I thought she was pretty good in this, in all honesty. Yeah. She was different enough from the things that I have seen her in that showed me that she had a little bit more range than I thought she did. So I think she was good as Sydney's daughter.
Getting to directing.
Yeah.
And even some writing. But the first 20 minutes of this film, aside from the opening kill, which I thought was fun, enjoyable, it almost never really matters all that much.
No, no, it doesn't.
It's just kind of a fun way to introduce the new killer to you.
Yeah.
I thought that the direction of the actors and the acting itself, and maybe even the writing here or there, was a little rough in the first 20 minutes. The dramatic kind of setup of everything, meeting all these people, there were some scenes where I was just like kind of cringing here or there. Did not think that was well done. But then once the murder started, specifically starting in the after the play practice, I thought the movie picked up from there, and they had peaked when Gail entered the film. That was like maybe the best scene of the film.
Really, when Gail and the twins come back is the peak.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the twins are great throughout. Gail is good. Sydney's great. And then the ending, it doesn't peak there. It's kind of whatever, but the acting from the killer is so good that it kind of just brushed the whatever.
I agree.
Whatever reveal to the side.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right with that. If you again, one of the characters that ends up being involved in the murders is a character that I'm sidestepping because I don't want to necessarily spoil anything, but it's a person you recognize if you've seen a lot of movies, especially in the 90s. And you're like, why is that person in this movie as just this? And so it was interesting casting. Hard to cast that particular role, I think, because you don't want to tip your hand too much as a writer. But by casting that particular person, you kind of do tip your hand a little bit.
And they've done so many Scream movies now. This is literally the 7th. So
right,
how can you go in a direction that's new?
Yeah, now they end up using the topic of the day, which is AI. So they use that a little bit, and I don't think that's spoiling.
It's very minor, though.
Yeah, it's a minor part, but they do infuse today's hot topic into the film in a way. But
someone is deep faking Stu Macher's face, or is it actually Stu Macher? That's the whole kind of question.
Exactly. That's the whole question. Yeah.
The end of the first act, kind of.
Yeah.
And Matthew Lillard gives a fantastic performance on the phone
awesome
screen.
In this. Like, he channels his younger self somehow in this.
Yeah.
And it was impressive. I was just like, wow, that's, golf clap for that, because not half bad to be able to pull a character out of the cobwebs that you were when you were basically in your 20s, and you're a grown adult now, being able to really have the affectations of that character come back pretty impressive as an actor. I've always liked him a lot. I would love to have seen him in more stuff.
Tarantino that.
Yeah, don't tell he got unfortunately roped in with that whole Paul Dano and specifically Matthew Lillard. Like, why do you go off those two guys? Like, really, at the time, and I think I told you this, at the time I thought it was a work, and that's a wrestling term, that the reason that Tarantino was doing it is because he was actually casting Paul Dano as the critic. And I was totally convinced that that's what Tarantino was doing. But that unfortunately did not come to fruition. Or we don't know. Maybe it will. But we don't know what Tarantino's last film. He's so in his head about it. We will never know. But yeah, look, I mean, this one, love it or hate it, because there are a ton of people that hate it, especially some online pundits that despise this film, like more than I think that is actually normal for a person to hate a movie. I think a lot
and there's a reason for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get it, but well, no, I mean, and even the person that I'm speaking of that's an online pundit didn't even bring that like that's not even in their conversation.
Yeah, which I think is better to do.
Which is better to do, but this particular guy hates it like more than I've seen anybody hate a movie, and I'm like, man, you're a little hard on this film. It's a fun movie. It just is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have much repeat viewing. Which the Scream franchise kind of has.
Look at the last two films. 59% drop weekend 2. Yeah. 65% drop, I think, weekend 2 for 6.
Yeah. This will probably
these films always drop big, at least in the modern day. And it loses all of its premium large format screens next week to Hoppers and The Bride.
Doesn't help.
So it's gonna plummet.
It's gonna plummet, but look, to come out of the gate with 60 million is pretty impressive. I mean, is that just domestic or is that worldwide?
Domestic.
That's good.
Worldwide, it's close to like 98 or something.
Yeah. So it's going to make its money back.
It's the biggest opening for a Scream film by like 20 or 30 million, something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so even if it does have a huge drop next week, which it will, I mean, it's going to make its money back. I mean, because the budget on the thing was what, 50 or something? It was low. It was not a huge budget.
To get into the financials, it was a $45 million budget. You do a rule of thumb of 2.5 at one. It's 112.5 million.
Yep. It'll make it back. I mean,
it's going to make a profit. They're going to do an 8.
Good.
And I think really, largely, this is a tough topic in conversation, but the elephant in the room, you fired an actress for comments about Palestine, political stuff.
Whatever.
I think the people who have been screaming about boycotting this film have only made it bigger because they've been screaming about boycotting the film online. I think it's different from the Wuthering Heights thing, where I think the controversy started to happen closer to the film, and people got kind of turned off about it being a less book accurate film.
Right.
Versus this, where and Wuthering Heights is still going to make money most likely, but versus this, where this started like 2 years ago, and they've just kept this movie in the conversation by constantly tweeting about it under tweets, trying to spoil the film for people. I think they've only alienated people in that sense, rather than gain supporters.
I think you're right. I mean, I think it's a tired argument anyways, and nobody really cares. I mean, look, I don't mind saying it. Nobody really cares about Melissa Barrera or anything that she thinks.
I agree.
Which is fine. Nobody cares about. Nobody should care.
Like people online, who talk about boycotting this film, you would think that her subsequent follow-up films and shows that she's done would do better numbers, and they're not.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is the Ricky Gervais rule. No actor, you should not care about what any actor ever says when it comes to anything political. Like, you shouldn't. It's just dumb that they don't know anything about the real world, and it's dumb to care about what any of them say. So I'm not picking on just Melissa Barrera. I'm just saying all actors just don't. It doesn't matter what they say politically.
I get what.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. But I'm excited for 8. Now here's what needs to happen though.
Yeah.
They don't need to bring Williamson back for directing, at least. Let him write a screenplay, because he's going to have clout now. He's going to have the success of clout because the box office is successful. So he's going to have his say. I really don't think Paramount should let him direct it again. I think that they go after the guys that did Final Destination Bloodlines or something. Like go after somebody like that. Get rid of Williamson as directing. Let him do a draft of a screenplay and choose to use it or not.
And the Bloodlines guys just got hired to do a Venom animated movie, which is kind of interesting. But...
Yeah, they're getting work, which is great. Yeah. I mean, give it a fresh director. That's what the Evil Dead series has been doing, and yes. I didn't realize that was Sam Raimi as executive producer. That is his choice. He doesn't want consistent directors for all of his Evil Dead films. He wants a different, fresh director for each of his Evil Dead films. And now they don't do great financially, but at least they're interesting. I'm super excited about the next two.
The last one was supposed to be HBO Max exclusive, talking about Evil Dead. And it made a fair amount of money for what it was. Low budget, and Evil Dead Rise made money at the theaters.
Yeah, and that's another Sam Raimi thing. He always wants to keep the budget low on the Evil Dead films specifically, and he wants a new, fresh set of eyes.
It could launch some of these people's careers to come into an established franchise like
big time,
make a good movie, and then go out and make your own stuff. And that's kind of what a lot of these guys try to aspire to do, but not everyone can do that, obviously. I do want to give my quick Scream rankings.
I don't have any because I don't care about the franchise that much, but you go for it.
My objective Scream rankings.
Objective. Okay. There's some science behind your rankings, apparently.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I would go Scream. Here's where I think the really, really good ones end. So I think it's Scream 1996, Scream 2022, so Scream 5.
Okay.
And then Scream 2 from 1990, whatever it was, 8. Or 97, whichever it was. I think that's where the really, really good ones end.
Okay.
Then I would go 6, 7, 3 as to being like,
wow, you hate
teetering on the edge of good, but have some stuff that kind of pull them down a bit. And then 4, I do not care for that movie.
That's the one
from Wes Craven's final
agreement.
Yeah. And you look at the cinema score for that film. It's 7 did get a B-, which is not fantastic, but it's not terrible. But it's the same score that 4 got. And 4 had actually pretty poor critical reception at the time, but it's gotten reappraised by some people on Rotten Tomatoes, so the score has gone up. But that's my feelings towards it. I think it's towards the bottom of the franchise. I don't think it's great, but there are some great elements in it, and I agree that I think Williamson's directing holds back. I don't know that he knows how to direct actors.
It doesn't feel like it.
I think that shines through some of this movie because you see some people who could be giving some great performances that don't in some areas of the film. But then other areas, they're giving fantastic performances. So
I do want to shout out McKenna Grace, who is now like in 7 franchises or something
she's like
ridiculous.
A screen queen at this point.
She is in so many different. She's in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise now, I guess. Is that her? No, wait, no, she's not in that.
No, she's dating the guy from that.
Okay, so Hunger Games. She's going to be in that franchise because she's in the new one.
Yep.
And she's
in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes, exactly. She's in so many franchises now. It's
Ghostbusters.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Ghostbusters. That's right.
Yeah. She's got a very different look for Ghostbusters than her more recent films. But she plays a nerdy kid in that. I have to say, before we go on this topic, the theater I was in loved this film. Clapping, cheering, hooting and hollering, laughs. That probably made me enjoy this film more than I would have sitting on the couch at home watching this. Having an engaged crowd that was loving it and eating it up, and walking out of the film, and you hear people talking about how much they loved it. That is
the power.
The power of the theater.
Exactly. That's the power of the theater versus watching something at home, because theater movies are an experiential, emotional type situation. They're not like, you can't view in a vacuum by yourself sometimes on these type of films. I mean, I don't remember if anybody was like having a huge fun time with Scream 7 when I saw it, but I didn't hear anybody just scoffing. Like, everybody was laughing where they were supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
I may have laughed a couple times when I wasn't supposed to laugh, but I mean, it's just because there was some stuff that was so dumb that it was hard not to laugh at it, even though maybe they were trying to be serious. But yeah, look, I mean, I think that I don't know if there was review bombing on this film, but it seemed like there probably was a little bit of review bombing when you have so many reviews, and these are not critic reviews, but so many audience reviews coming out the Thursday before the movie even comes out.
Yeah, there was review bombing on Letterboxd for sure. I mean, when the movie started, if you looked at the 1 out of 10 score on Letterboxd, it was a gigantic column, and that has reduced since people have actually seen it. But
yeah, I'm so shocked that the people on Letterboxd are review bombing something because of something someone in the movie said a couple of years ago, and they're mad about it. I'm so shocked.
Well, the funny thing is that all the lies I see online about the film, actually, I saw someone like get tens of thousands of likes about some thing where they made Barrera in the movie. I'm like, what scene are you talking about?
So
all they did, the only thing that's in this movie that references to 5 and 6 is the fact that it seems like the movie is being apologetic towards Neve Campbell for not allowing her to be in 6, basically.
Right.
But at the same time, they make her character go, it was selfish of me to not be in New York. I was selfish to not go to New York.
That's right.
So, I mean, there were no making fun of Melissa Barrera in the film, and they paid a lot of reverence to those last 2 films, really. And look, I don't think this film happens without those 2 films.
No, it definitely doesn't. And I think that those last 2 films actually make this one a bit better, just in the sense that you get the Gale that you have been with for a couple of films now.
Yeah.
So you get her back, and she's, being her same Gale self. Yes. But you also get the twins back, and the twins were a big part of the last 2 at helping with some levity when needed.
And they did that in this as well. Yeah.
And they definitely they had your typical in the bar. They had your typical
I like
interrogation scenes.
She starts to break down the rules, and Mason's like, "We're not doing that this time."
Right, exactly. So look, I mean, I don't know. I was very surprised at the people that were coming out against this film with such vitriol. I have seen way worse movies than this, and this year I have seen way worse movies than this. And
on
so
this
it was
podcast.
It's weird. It was very strange. But anyways, we don't necessarily have a focus either there. So as far as what's coming out big next week, obviously it's Hoppers and The Bride. Those are your 2 huge ones, but we are taking a week off, aren't we, Garrison?
Yeah. We're going to be doing a special Oscars prediction episode with some special guests that you'll have to wait and see once we get there.
That's right. I'm excited about
next week.
Those special guests. I guess we're not going to tease even who they are.
Well,
no, you're right. Let's let it be. You're right. Let's let it be a surprise.
We've done Oscar predictions with these guys before. So.
Yes, we have on their show. You're right. You're right.
So excited to record that next week. Excited for it to go live.
Yeah.
Excited to have them on the podcast. Some of our first guests besides Dr. Earl.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's going to be a little different episode because it's going to be just Oscar prediction focused, not movie focused. And you can take a couple weeks to be able to catch up on some episodes and Hugo coming up in 2 weeks. So yeah, awesome. Exciting times. And our focus in 2 weeks, we may look at doing something like Hoppers, but we'll solidify that before one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Where can people find you on social media, Mikey?
I am at the Michael Nip on X, and I am on Letterboxd as Michael Nip. And just, that's where I will throw my movie takes out from time to time. And I'll let you say the rest of the spiel.
You could find me at GRyfun3, GRYFUN3 on X and Instagram if you want. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfun. You can find us at Cinema Debrief on Twitter and Instagram. You can also email us at Cinema Debrief Pod if you want us to send us just a letter. If you want to join the big Discord community, great people, have great conversations about objectivity and subjectivity in art. Come join the fun and sometimes heated debates that start to happen in our Discord.
That's right. Sometimes heated.
Well, we'll see you guys next week for our Oscars predictions episode.